Everything starts right here at Oliva Tobacco Company, a family that support our dreams of the little boutiques in the U.S. Oliva has access to tobacco from many different places in the world. Nicaragua, Honduras, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, Peru, Indonesia, Sumatra. And today we're going to try to find a seco, middle of the plant, large enough from Honduras, which is really sweet, to blend with the Nicaraguan Ligero to make a Big Daddy. So we're looking for a seco with a lot of flavor, a lot of aroma, and a thick leaf, a good body leaf, because we're doing a pretty thick cigar. We don't want the cigar to get clogged or too spongy. Sometimes I got to go through 3 to 5 bells, finding the right ones. Sometimes we don't find it, so we have to do a more mild cigar. This one, for example, it's pretty thin. As soon as he picks them out, I can see it is a really thin leaf, and it's not going to be good for a thick cigar. It's empty. It has no aroma. This has probably been dry for a while, so I can't pick any tones, any spices, any sweetness. So we're gonna have to check another one. Let's check this one on the top. It is already open. But as soon as I touch it, I realize that there's no body, there's no thickness on that leaf. That's my second try. This one is looking good. It's looking good for a Robusto or Toro. There's a size for a Robusto or Toro. But I think with the Cuban rollers, they will be complaining for such a thick cigar. It still needs more thickness in the leaf, and there wasn't a lot of crazy aroma, crazy tones. This one looks like the size that we're looking for. It feels really nice to the touch. And from here, I can pick the aroma. It's a lot more humid, and wow, this is the winner. This is the one. Now we are back at Tabanero Cigars, our factory, and we're gonna get the wrapper wet. We're gonna get the wrapper pretty damp, and then we're gonna hang it for 24 hours. We have to hang the wrapper after there's been sprayed with water for 24 hours to rest, for all the veins to get the right amount of humidity, and for the leaf to open up. A lot of small factories, sometimes they wet the wrapper in the morning and they apply it on the cigar in the afternoon. And that's a no-no. When you're small, you try to cut a lot of corners, but it's not good. The wrapper needs to hang in the dark for at least 24 hours for the leaf to open and to get flexible. And after that, you have to do another process before you apply it to the cigar. We cover the tobacco with plastic black bags for the humidity to stay more in play inside of the closet. We close the doors, and we're gonna leave it for 24 hours. Next day, we flat the wrapper. We put it back again in a bag and give them another 24 hours inside of the closet. After the 48 hours process, we strip the wrapper, put it in a manilla, a bunch of 40 bands, 40 to 50 bands, and we give 2 or 3 to the roller, depending how many cigars they're doing. And that wrapper, believe me, is ready to look silky, oily, on top of a beautiful handmade cigar.
Tabanero cigars. I want to share with you guys why we make cigars in Tampa, Florida. Why we still want to keep the heritage alive. Tabanero. A guy from Havana is a habanero, like myself. Now in Tampa, we kind of mix it up and came up with Tabanero. Today I want to share why is that when you come to Ybor City, the strip of 7th Avenue, still has a lot of small cigar shops that you can visit and see how they do things and see how different they work to bigger productions. You can see ourselves more like boutiques. Even that we use the same tobacco from Oliva Tobacco Company, everybody does things differently. Vicentes Martinez Ybor is original from Spain. He migrated to Cuba, to Havana, at the age of 14. He comes from a wealthy family, and he was kind of like a troublemaker in Spain. In Cuba, in Havana, it only was a matter of time for him to fall in love with the cigar industry. Anybody that is passionate about anything in life will realize that the cigar industry is a really noble trade, and it's really easy to fall in love with it. Vicente Ybor made the second most famous brand in the world, which was called Príncipe de Gales, Prince of Wales. But he got, I would say, pretty attached to Havana, to the Cubans, and he started helping the Cubans to independ from Spain, and that was a no-no during that time. So they sentenced him to death. So he had to escape to Key West. He took his production to Key West. On Key West, he was having a hard time keeping the rollers to stay in Key West and also to move his production to the rest of the country. A friend of him came on 1884 to Tampa looking for land to grow guava. And he realized pretty quick in the swamps of Tampa, Florida, there was no way tropical fruit like guava, it was going to develop. He went back and told Vicente, there's a place called Tampa, which has the bay and the train track. It will be pretty good for you to look at them to move your production over there. So Vicente arrived, managed to buy 40 acres from the city of Tampa and started his production. Everywhere you go in Tampa, there's images, there's pictures, there's murals of an industry, a beautiful industry, golden era. Vicente built the biggest cigar factory in the world in 1886, and he pretty quick realized that if he was the only one, it was going to be kind of hard to grow the industry. So he believed on helping others to start their own production, their own factories. So at some point, we had 200 factories in Tampa, Florida, producing, I think, 600 million cigars a year. It was a golden era. The Great Depression of 1929, with the invention of the cigarette, it kind of hit the industry pretty hard, but it killed it completely. It was 1962, the embargo of Cuba. No more Cuban tobacco. It was able to come to the States, so basically it was over. Even that it's been 100 years, you come to Ybor and you still can feel the culture, feel the industry at a smaller scale. There's passionate people like myself in Tampa that we believe we can bring back that respect, we can bring back that heritage, that culture of cigars. It's not going to be at the same scale because of labor and taxes, but thanks to the internet, now our production can be moved on the internet to a lot more people. We just have to get creative how to share the passion that we have with everybody online. In here, in Tabanero Cigars, we do things a little bit different because we take things, respect to the industry, really serious. Why Tampa, Florida? Well, believe it or not, in Cuba, in Havana especially, the lector still reads a lot of the Tampa industry, of the golden era when we used to do a lot of cigars. It kind of amused the rollers and inspired the rollers to do a better job. So Cuban rollers, they always dreamed that someday they'll be able to make it to Tampa and work for one of the 200 factories that we used to have. But they come to Tampa to realize that that is history. They find out pretty quick that all we have is small shops trying to keep the heritage alive. That's one of the reasons this is a best place for you to start your boutique cigars factory. Because Cuban rollers, they still showing up to your doorstep looking for work, so you get to handpick the best ones. Keep in mind that a Cuban roller is trained for 9 months, a school of 9 months in Cuba, and it's strictly handmade. They don't work in pairs, they're an entire roller. They do the bunches, the inside, and they do the wrapper. Compared to other factories in Central America and the Caribbean, they work in pairs. The guy would do the bunches, and the ladies would do the wrapping. When they work in pair like that, they work faster, so they're able to do 600 to 1,000 cigars a day. A Cuban roller is trained to do only 100 to 150 cigars completely handmade. So the artisan has more time to spend with his craftsmanship. The other thing that it makes Tampa unique, that still makes it possible to do what we do, it's Oliva Tobacco Company. 5 minutes away from Ybor City. Ybor City is next to the downtown of Tampa. There's the Oliva Tobacco family. Oliva is I would say, the biggest grower of Ecuadorian wrapper and binder, and also I would say the strongest broker for fillers. They sell fillers from Nicaragua, Honduras, Ecuador, Mexico, Peru, Indonesia. So the best of all the worlds, you have it in here in Tampa. When you buy cigars from a bigger production, it makes sense for a factory in Nicaragua or Honduras or Dominican Republic to use as much as they can that is grown on the same country. So if you look at magazines, when you read about a cigar, most of the filler, if the factory is in Dominican Republic, is going to be from Dominican Republic. What everybody uses similar is the Ecuadorian wrapper, because Oliva does an amazing, amazing work growing wrapper. So now we have the best rollers and the best tobacco out there. What we're missing is someone passionate and someone that really believes on this industry. We've been doing this for 5 years, and we keep growing and growing because we believe that it is possible. It is possible to rescue the industry one cigar at a time. We only do Cuban style. It works. It definitely is a superior cigar. Rollers, I have learned to attract people that are passionate like me. I just went an interview and talking about the ways they work and what kind of sizes they like to do. I can spot really quick if they enjoy what they do. It's really important to keep an environment in here in Tabanero Cigars that everybody's happy doing what they're doing. Sometimes I'm in my office and I can hear the rollers talking about it, how fortunate they are, even that on Sundays or on Monday when they have the day off, they cannot wait for the next day to come back to work because they really enjoy the environment in here and doing cigars. And definitely, you can transfer that passion in the product to the customer. We do things differently because, again, we believe in what we are going to accomplish. And for instance, even though we are a 5-roller cigar factory, that we produce about 3,600 cigars a week, we are limited. We have limited production. We try to guarantee that the most popular sizes like Robusto, Toro, Big Daddies, they're always available. But everything else, like Bocados, Mike, Press Torpedoes, it's limited production. When we find a good bell of Ligero, a good bell of Seco, we decide for which size, which Bitola we're going to use that bell. And a bell would yield between 11,000 cigars to 16,000 cigars, depending on the size. So by this time of the year, production of last year of Bocado, Corona Gorda, Churchill, it's already gone. The only way for you to be able to have those cigars is if you go into a membership. We have saved a few of those boxes to the end of the year for people that are on memberships. Now we're working on those blends, and they will be ready December or January. So that's how we deal with sizes that we know they're not going to be available the entire year. And people automatically, well, why don't you bring more rollers? Why don't you buy more tobacco to not to have that issue with not being able to comply with the demand? It's simple. This is not like the food industry that you cook and you sell the product. This is more similar to wine. A lot of the factories have implementing freezing the cigars for 24 hours to accelerate the process of drying, and then they will put it in a humidor for 6 weeks. We haven't experienced how that will work. We doing it old school, so we leave the cigars after the rollers are done for 2 weeks to dry on the AC. And after that, we move it to the humidor to complete 90 days. We believe that 90 days is the right timing for all these 3 different countries on our cigars, all these 3 different sections of the plant to be well balanced. And what I mean by that is to have a cigar that when you light up, it's not going to be changing on you from beginning to the end. Something else that we don't cut corners and we believe is the Draw Master. When you're a small boutique, when you use Cuban rollers, that is everything by hand, you can have some issues with draw on the cigar. And you all know that sometimes you buy a 25-count box and it's typical that you would get 3 to 5 cigars that they kind of tight or too loose. If the cigar is too loose, every time you puff, it's going to get really hot. And even if you put good tobacco, it will change the flavor of the cigar. If the cigar is too tight, there's no way you can smoke. So I would say 2 years ago, we implemented the Draw Master. Draw Master, it's an invention that I fix all these issues, but you have to use it with the entire production. I don't know for bigger companies how that works because there will be a lot of cigars running through the machine. In a smaller production, we are able to do that. We are able to run the entire production to the Draw Master. We have a person doing that every day. The Draw Master, I will show next how it works. It guarantee that when you buy 25 cigars, they're all going to have a perfect draw. And that makes a big difference. We are a boutique. We are really proud of what we do. So it's really important to check the product before it gets to your hands. Our policy when it comes to cigar, return policy is that no questions asked. You're not satisfied with what we're doing, just give us a call, send us an email, and we give you your money back because we believe in what we're doing. These are handmade cigars by Cuban artisans in the U.S., and we know for sure we're going to place Tampa back in the map when it comes to handmade cigars. We believe on sharing everything that is working for us with the rest of the shops. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just following Vicente Ibor's steps. He realized that if it was only him, he was the only option for customers to come to Tampa. Now, if he will build an industry, he will have more rollers coming to Tampa, and he will have more customers coming to Tampa because of the cigar industry. I want to turn Ybor City back again into a destination point when it comes to handmade cigars. That's why I work with Nica Havana, La Faraona, Long Ash, La Gerencia de Cuba. I share my web developer, the applications that work for me. I share everything with them because I want them to succeed too. And anybody that comes to Tampa and is thinking about starting a small boutique, they have my support. They have my support because I believe in the heritage of Tampa. We are limited, and I would like to keep it like that because it gives us more room to concentrate on quality, not on quantity. There's no secret that a roller in the U.S. is the best paid roller. Even though we pay 65 cents to 90 cents per size, depending the sizes the roller makes, just do your numbers. They work 6 days a week, and they work about 9 hours, including lunch. So they get paid between $450 to $650 a week. In Cuba, a roller gets paid $100 a month. In Nicaragua, I think it's $40 a week. So the best paid rollers are right here in Tampa, Florida. We have a better pay than Miami, New Jersey, and we're really proud because it's about the product, it's about the customer, and to create an environment to rescue the industry. And here we are completely hand bunching, and it's the Cuban style. As you can see, he places the binder on the table. He picks a different leaf from different parts of the plant. The top it will be Ligero from Dominican Republic. The middle of the plant it will be Nicaraguan Seco. And the bottom of the plant it will be a Colombian Bolao. In here we have two really earthy, strong tobaccos, Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. So we balance the blend with sweet tobacco from Colombia. When the Cuban roller is hand bunching, he's all the time with touching and filling the bunch to make sure the tobacco is placed evenly on the bunch. When you do this process in a bunching machine, you kind of lose that touch, lose that precision. As you can see, the time of a Cuban roller doing a bunch, it will be almost impossible to bunch 500 cigars in one day. As you can see, we start the compressor so we can run air through the drop master. We open the molds that are already being pressed for about an hour and a half. And we run each cigar to the chamber. And the perfect draw, it should be between 40 to 60 on a handmade cigar. How we have calibrate the machine in here. If the cigar is lower than 40, we give it back to the roller to add more tobacco. If the cigar is too tight, we not even take the risk of misplacing that bunch on a different mold, so we destroy the cigar that is really tight. We always get the question of how many of the production we run through a machine, and I always have to give the same answer. If you buy 25, 50 cigars from us, how many you want in a perfect condition? And your answer is always all the cigars. So that's why we run the entire production to the drop master. As you can see, the ones that are over 60, we put it to the side. And because we keep a great environment in this place of work, every 5 molds, we will find 3 to 5 cigars. Every 50 cigars, I would say 1%. This roller already finishes bunches in the morning and press, run to the drop master, and he's applying the wrapper. In here you can see the Cuban triple cap. It's the only way we allow to do our product. He already did the first cap with the actual wrapper. He's now doing the second cap, and he will open the wrapper to mount the second cap the correct way. This guarantees that when you cut the last cap, your cigar is going to stay entire in one piece while you're smoking the cigar, chewing on the cigar for the next hour. And that's the term of a Cuban triple cap. Now you're going to see how he makes the last cap with a piece of copper pipe. And that last cap is the one that you should use as a guideline to cut the cigar, to still keep the shape of the cigar. That last cap is your guideline. And if you're looking for a perfect handmade cigar, that cap should be in a perfect placement. It should be the last line, and it will be pretty round right on top of the cigar. Not to one size, not to cut by the blade. It has to be with the copper pipe. So it will be perfectly round. And these are one of the things that you look for when you are trying to spot a higher craftsmanship cigar, a higher level cigar. In here he marks again with the little copper. Every Cuban roller has their own little book. They do things differently, but always maintaining the same technique of wrapping, of bunching, wrapping, and triple cap.
We put them to dry in the air conditioner for 2 weeks, and then they go in the humidor to complete 90 days at the right humidity. And in here we got room for membership cigars.